Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in. I know it's late for some of you East Coasters. I want to welcome you to my Social Media 101 webinar. If you've seen my posts on Facebook or inside the event invite, you will know that I don't ever prepare for these calls by writing a script or even really planning it out. I really speak from the heart, and like I said, I'm surprised sometimes at what I say just as much as you're going to be. But what brought this topic to mind was that I've seen so many people struggle.
Hey everybody,
Oh,
thank you
crap,
for tuning
hold
in.
on.
I know
Sorry.
it's late for some of you East Coasters. I want to welcome you to my
Okay, sorry. I had the window open it, so I was airing myself. Anyways, I've seen so many people struggling on Facebook, on Instagram, or inside my own groups or coaches that reach out to me. They're just really struggling. So I wanted to give some of the tips that I found have been helpful to some of the people that I've shared this with, and this is just through trial and error on my own part from being a coach for 2.5 years. A little story behind me, in case you don't know who I am and you're just tuning in, is that I became a coach in February of 2012. I'm currently a 7-star Diamond 2013 Elite Coach. Before becoming a coach, I really had not accomplished anything. I have no college degree, no previous experience in sales. So Beachbody and the coaching opportunity just kind of came and fell in my lap, and I've just had to learn as I go. So I want to let you know that this is something that you can do too if you're in the same shoes as me and have no experience. Like I told somebody today or yesterday about just even their own fitness and weight loss journey. One of my coaches was, discouraged by her progress and her abilities when she started PIO on the 7th of July. I mean, she's only, on week 3, and she was just frustrated. And the one thing that I told her is that, okay, so you're a mom, and were you perfect when you became a mom? She's like, well, hell no, I wasn't, and I'm still learning. And so it's the same thing along with your fitness journey and the programs you're doing, and even as a coach, as we learn as we go. There is no such thing as, perfection. There is no, per se rules there, and you're just going to keep getting better. The best thing is kind of like I had a call with one of my coaches last week. She's like, I've been doing everything, the same thing for over 2 years, inviting and sharing things and tagging people and doing this and this and this, and it's just not working. So my question to you is, have you been a coach for 6 months, a year, or maybe even longer, and you're just nothing's working? If the answer is yes, that's you, then stop what you're doing and kind of take a step back. So I'm going to share some of the things that I did in the beginning as a coach and how I've changed and what I've learned from. When I first became a coach, like I said, I was very new to anything that was sales related. I had always said that I didn't want to be in sales, and I didn't really know anything about Beachbody or the programs or coaching, so I just kind of had to learn as I go. I was 13 days into P90X. I lost a pant size, and I became a coach because I started sharing what I was doing pretty much from, I think, probably about day 2 of starting P90X. So people had, I captivated their interest. I was not a coach at the time when I started. I had no earthly idea that you could actually become a coach. So I was just sharing my story. And little did I know, people were really, curious of what I was doing. And I noticed as I was talking about it, I remember some of my first posts was that, I think it was on day 2 of being a coach, I said, or being a customer and doing P90X, I said, wow, I realized that I'm not as out of shape as I thought I was, but I have a lot, further to go. And then there was things about, how I felt about working out that I remember saying like, oh, I can, touch my toes finally, blah, 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 just sharing my journey. And I remember people liking it and commenting on it. And especially if you own P90X or you've done P90X, you kind of know that most of the time you hear a lot of people who own P90X and it's, gathering dust on the shelf and they haven't finished it. So a lot of people were really eager to watch my story and my journey. So this is something I want you to remember if you're starting your own journey, is just share things. So then when I became a coach, on February 15th, 13 days into my journey, I turned into this salesman, and because that's what you think you should do. And a lot of people that I hear, their biggest fear about coaching is that they don't want to be a salesman, because I think we've all had those people that are just posting links all day long about whatever product they're trying to market for whatever company they work for, they represent, and it gets kind of old. And the last thing we want to do is be one of those people that we can't stand. So what I started doing was just sharing my link all the time, buy P90X. Well, I know that I pissed a lot of people off there. In fact, there was one person who was very vocal in town and blasted me publicly, which, I would say, hey, she had the balls to say it out loud, and, I don't have any problem with it. At least she said it, publicly instead of behind my back. But the thing is, I'm still here and, rocking this. So, obviously you're going to have your haters. But one thing that I suggest to everybody, this is one thing that I've told my coaches all along from day one, is when you become a coach, the last thing you want to do is post, check out my website, www.beachbody.com/ whatever your username is, because that just sends off red alerts that you are a salesman, and people just get turned off by that because they're constantly having people hound them. There's a lot of network marketing companies out there. I know I've been, put in a lot of unique 3D microfiber lashes group on Facebook, and I don't like it. I love the product. Use it. You can check out my results, and I have a lot of people who sell it that I love the product, but that's a turn off. I have people that are constantly inviting me to 31 parties and Tupperware parties and Hammer Chef parties and Mary Kay things, and we all see that a lot. And these products are great. A lot of the representatives for them are great, but people are just tired of having stuff shoved down their throat. So the thing is, if you've done this in the past, don't beat yourself up for it, because I probably did it for, 3-4 months. So we've all done it. We've got to learn as we go. So I'm telling you, learn from my mistakes and cut out that stuff that is not effective. The number one reason is, like I said, because you are, being portrayed as a salesman, and that could make people just be turned off and put it in their head that they're never going to order something just because you annoyed them. There are people like that. And also number two is, I found, it took me about 4 months to figure out, is that I post my website all the time. I even linked it to my Facebook account where people could check out my website. And when it all came down to it, when people, good night, Rebel, say good night.
Good night.
See, this is my life. Bye bye. I love you.
Bye.
Bye. When people, this is my life, sorry. When people were ready to order their challenge pack or order Shakeology or whatever it is that they were interested in, the first question they said is, I'm ready to order, what's your website? So posting that is not going to do any good. And then also, when you just say, go check out my website, people are busy nowadays, and I'm sure if you're a coach, or even if you're, someone that is a customer, or somebody who's thinking about joining Team Beachbody as a customer or coach, you know how busy you are, and the last thing you want to do is go do your own research. It's so much easier just to ask people a question and go do your own research. And I also know too, just from how I felt when I was a customer, when I went to order my P90X challenge pack, which I already knew what I was going to order, when I went to teambeachbody.com, or actually I think I went to my coach Becky's website, well, I know I did, it opened up all these boxes, and it was just overwhelming. And the last thing you want to do is overwhelm people with information. The point is, if somebody wanted to do their own research, and there's a lot of people out there with those personalities, they would go through and do all the research. They would watch reviews on YouTube, Google it, check out the before and afters about the program they wanted, and then they would just order through teambeachbody.com because they were independently able to do this on their own. The point of having a coach is the fact that we can help somebody come up with what program is right for them and help them select what's going to be best suited for them, so they actually finish it and have results, and then do not feel alone along the way. So that's your job as a coach, is to not just tell people where to go, it's to help them find it, and step up as a leader and step up as a friend and somebody who's going to guide them in their journey, because this is going to build your brand and build your reputation and help you build relationships with the people that are going to be your challengers, who eventually we all hope that we're going to finish the program, fall in love with Shakeology, realize how strong the community is with Team Beachbody, and join as a coach and do the same thing as you. So that's why it's so important not just to throw that out there. Once time somebody asked me, well, what social media do you use? And the thing is, we have so many outlets out there. I know that there's Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and the Google thing. I mean, this is Google. I don't know what they're called because I don't use it, or I don't know what it is. Anyways, and LinkedIn and all these different things out there, and Tumblr and Pinterest and all these things that people use as social media platforms to build their business, to establish their reputation, to find other people. For me, I use Facebook alone. There are a lot of times I post pictures to Instagram and post things to Twitter. I personally really suck at Instagram and suck at Twitter? Could I research it and get better and take, like I know Shalene Johnson has a Instagram training series, and she builds her business, and I know that her sister Janelle and a lot of people build their business on Instagram. So if that's what you're using, that's fine. I use Facebook, and the way I kind of feel about it is that I have had great success with Facebook, and I'm not really a huge numbers person. I'm just trying to connect with the people that I can and using the tool that has been the most successful for me. If I ever get to the point where, Facebook is completely obsolete, or if I've just tapped out the amount of people that I can reach through Facebook, then I'm going to have to, explore other options. But I kind of feel that I'm not going to dilute what I'm doing and focus on getting huge numbers when what I'm doing is working. So whatever works for you is best. But to me, the same thing applies, is you have to be yourself. The one thing that I tell a lot of my personally sponsored coaches and people in my downline when I do coach trainings is the first thing you want to do is, go through on whatever social media platform you're on and, start following some of the top coaches. There's a list in the Coach Online office of all the 2013 elite coaches, and so those are going to be, what are deemed the top coaches and the people who've been successful. And so I think you should study them just to kind of get a feel for what they do. But what I have noticed in turn is a lot of people, when they're following it, become, so fixated on one person that they admire that they pretty much copy what they do. And the problem is if you have...
So they can only see your nose down. That's all they can see of you.
They can only see my nose down? I can see me right there. Is that better? I don't know. Sorry, somebody just texted Ryan and said that they couldn't see me. So if you haven't been able to see my face, I'm sorry. I can see myself. So anyways, I've seen a lot of people go through and follow a lot of these elite coaches, and then they end up copying what they do. And the thing is, we're all different, and we all have different personalities. So the thing is, everybody who knows me on Facebook knows that I cuss like a sailor. I'm very blunt. I'm very to the point, very wild and stick out. So the thing is, if you're a really shy, quiet person, or if you have never really cussed on Facebook or something, and you're saying, oh, Mindy Hort has been very successful, and I want to emulate her success, and you start copying some of the things that I do, Emily, please, and it's not your personality, or it's kind of shocking to other people, then you're not going to be as successful. So one thing that I want to share with everybody is to just be yourself. This was very hard for me. If you followed me at all on Facebook or watching my YouTube videos or reading my blogs about who I was prior to becoming a coach, and even about a year and a half ago, I was always trying to fit in, always worried about being judged, and just trying to find my place and trying to develop who I was. Because even as a child, I didn't know who I was, and it's been a struggle. Beachbody has helped me find out who I am. So I finally realized after going to Danny Johnson's seminar, I'm really learning about forgiveness, forgiving myself, forgiving others that have wronged me, and just, really feeling free, and also learning that a lot of the fear of judgment that a lot of us go through is because of the fact that we judge, and it's just kind of this never-ending cycle. So once I just kind of realized to be comfortable with myself and to just do what I want and, try my hardest just to be a good person and help people achieve their goals and inspire them by just being me, it became a lot easier. I started sharing who I was, what I'd been through, my struggles, and every bit of my life. And I found that whenever I stopped caring what people thought about, more people actually ended up liking me. So the one thing that I want to say is whatever social media platform you are using to promote yourself, you be yourself. Don't be somebody else. Obviously take tips from, what you're watching other people do and kind of, personalize it with your personality. I've shared this before on other calls, is that to break myself into getting comfortable in front of the camera, getting myself comfortable for making videos for my own team, and now I'm doing this, that's publicly open to everybody, so I'm hoping that I can help a lot of people who don't have support from their upline, or even have support from their upline, but something's just not connecting where they are seeing a lot of success or growth in their business. I did a 30-day burpee challenge, and when I did that, I remember probably 4 or 5 days into it, my husband had bought chickens because he had heard me rave about how great fresh eggs were that I bought from a coworker. So he got this idea to buy chickens, and we'd raise our own, chickens for eggs, and then it became kind of this obsession, and we ended up with like 50 million chickens. Well, I remember I was doing my, burpee challenge on video, and I uploaded to YouTube, and then one of my friends from high school said, oh, I noticed the chickens in the background. Oh my God, I was so mortified. I was like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. This is, I'm a redneck coach, and, and because I was comparing myself to other coaches and more successful people who weren't married to a pack rat or a hoarder or a chicken farmer. And, then I realized that, what, this is my life. I'm not going to be somebody else. And, even though I couldn't stand the chickens, which we now, thank goodness, are free of. We are chicken free at this house, but that was who I was. And so then I started talking about it a little more, and then it was kind of funny. More and more people started talking about how they had chickens, or they grew up, as a child, and their family raised chickens, or and then it just became kind of a joke. And I'm not saying to go out and get chickens. I'm just saying be comfortable with who you are, and this is how you're going to brand yourself. This is how you're going to stick out. And anyways, lo and behold, more and more people, I'd wake up in the morning, there'd be all these, pictures with different, crazy chicken coops or ideas about chickens shared to my wall from other people. So this is how I branded myself. This is how people remembered me. Coaches I'd never met, people who are customers I'd never met, or even just people who started following me I'd never met or never been to my house and seen all the chickens. They started associating me with chickens. Not really necessarily what, is the proud moment there, but this was my life, and this is how I built part of who I was. Another thing is that I have ADD. It's something that I've struggled with my whole entire life, and it's been a huge struggle. My husband has ADD. Several of our kids suffer from ADD and ADHD, and then I just started talking about it, and more people connected to me with the same struggles, with focus, or, not being able to stick to things. And so this is another thing, was the way I branded myself, and I connected with people. Different things about you that you may think is completely ordinary and completely boring, or something that maybe you've struggled with or gotten made fun of, and I've tried to hide, or just really thought was nothing extraordinary. These are the things that are going to make you stand out and make you remembered by people, and make you a memorable person. And the whole thing about when you are a coach is connecting with people. I connected today with a customer lead, and we started talking about it. She was talking about how she cared for one of her, she was a caregiver to her mother who had, ALS, which is Lou Gehrig's disease, and we just started talking. She's a lot older than me. She has college-age kids. She's been struggling with her weight. But as we were talking, I was like, oh, I do know a lot about ALS. One of my childhood best friends all through our childhood, and he passed away in 2009. So, we started talking about it, and the conversation went more freely. We, discussed things about how, she just lost her mom and how hard it was, and I shared how my girls just lost their grandmother, a little over a week ago, and even though she is not my mother, and, not technically my family, it is my children's grandmother, and we've definitely suffered a loss here, and it's something that's been hard for all of us to deal with. So we built a connection. So this is why it is very important to share who you are, the good, the bad, the ugly, the struggles, the things that you think are completely insignificant on Facebook, because this is how you're going to connect. One thing I share about my coach and I, Becky, she lives in Miami. She really had, in my mind, what I would consider a perfect childhood, and walked away pretty unscathed as an adult. She has a college degree, had a six-figure, corporate job, was very successful. Has been married to one person, has two great kids. Pretty strong, close-knit family. And then here I am. I was somebody who was adopted, left home at 15, been married 3 times, have 3 kids by 3 different dads. Struggled with alcohol and drug, problems. Been beaten and abused in every way possible, and didn't go to college, has held so many jobs I can't count, and moved a million times. So obviously we have nothing in common, but obviously I picked her, and she's been a great leader and has become one of my best friends and family to me, based on just a few common interests. So the thing is, if you think that you have to be somebody who's has a marketing degree, or has a college degree, or has some long-founded experience in the health, or nutrition, you're wrong, because like I said, my coach and I are totally different. She has worked out her whole entire life. She's always been fit, And then there was me, who was not fit, not athletic, not competitive, hates working out, where she loves it. And here we are. We make a great team, and she's helped me a lot. So the thing is, you don't have to be what what you see or who the people you are following. Just be yourself. And this goes into the fact that if you're somebody who's not a coach and watching this, is that I've heard a lot of people say, oh, I have to be a fitness guru. I have to know everything. I think that I should know everything about health and fitness, and I have to have a six-pack, and I have to know about all the programs and finish the program, and all these different things. These are all in your head because, like I said, I started my journey as somebody who was just started it, and one of my friends who lives locally here said the other day, she's like, it's just amazing the business you've built, helping and how many people you've inspired when you hate working out. I still to this day hate working out, whereas my coach has inspired thousands of people and built a solid team too in exactly 4 years, and she was the exact opposite person as me. So the thing is, you don't need to be perfect, just be yourself. One of the things that is huge to me is I followed Danielle Henson for a long time. Again, we were very good friends. She's somebody that I consider one of my mentors. I went to her social media webinar or social media workshop at Summit in 2013. I've spent a lot of time with her. In fact, I'm going to be a guest speaker on her call in the beginning of August. And the thing is, I've learned a lot from her. Her and I are totally different too. She is very competitive. She loves to work out. She's motivated by competition. She's in the Insanity. The Asylum, I think got me wrong, Asylum 2 workout. She is the one who's in the DVDs that teaches the rounds of insanity for the instructors. She's best friends with Shaun T. She's amazing. She's an amazing person, but she's a very private person, and she is motivated by different things, whereas I am open about everything and share every little thing about myself. And she is very successful, and I've been successful, and the fact that she asked me to be a guest speaker on her call is just crazy because we operate totally different. And that's one thing she said, is that there's not a lot of people who are part of the Team Beachbody organization who operate like you, and you are one of a kind, and you've branded yourself, and I want you to share with my team how you being yourself has helped you be successful. And so that got me kind of thinking, maybe I should share it with you, is that be yourself. Stick out, because that's the one thing I've learned about Danielle Henson. I've listened to what she said. I've read a lot of her posts on Instagram and Facebook, and the one thing she taught was be yourself. So when I tell you be yourself, I'm not saying be me and emulate me, but be whoever you are. Be proud of who you are. And one thing that I tell every coach that I come in contact with is that there are 300 million plus people in the United States. You are not by any means going to win all those people as your fans. You're not going to connect with all of them. But the thing is, if you are so embarrassed of who you are, or so shy, or so worried about what you share, then you're essentially not going to reach anybody if you don't share that. You are only going to just sit there and frustrate yourself. You have to get personal. That is an absolute must. How personal you get is really up to you. I had somebody who has been my customer for a long time who messaged me the other day and said, I'm thinking about becoming a coach, but I really don't want to share all the things you have to share. You share. And I'm a very private person, and I assured her too, and I explained to her kind of about Danielle. I was like, Danielle is a very private person, and she's been successful. You don't need to share all the information I do. I feel, for me, my story has helped me connect with a lot of other people, but you don't have to do that. But the thing is, if you only share salesy posts, then you're not going to connect with anybody. So you have to kind of, stick your foot in the water and kind of test the waters and see what types of things really get other people to interact with you, what is working and what's not working. That's, like I said, go back and see what you've been doing. If you're frustrated and you're not seeing any growth in your business and you've been posting the same type of things, then you need to stop and reevaluate. So one thing that I tell everybody, and like I said, I don't work off a script. These are just tips that I share, and so unfortunately I'm not going to be able to write out exactly step by step, but I'm hoping you're getting something from this. But one thing that I've learned that I started doing on my own is, number one, getting people to engage with you, because the thing is, the relationship that you build with people are going to be the foundation and will be, how you gauge whether your business succeeds or fails or takes a long time to grow. So you have to build a relationship with them. It's not a one-sided relationship. You want them to get to know you, and you want to get to know them. You want to build a friendship with them. I don't ever call my challengers my customers or my clients. I call them my friends or my challengers because, yes, we are in a business. Yes, we do sales because we're marketing a product, and but the thing is, I really consider my people my friends because I build these relationships with them. I worry about them. I care about them. I have hundreds of customers and coaches under me, so it is hard to have that tight knit relationship with them that you might have with your best friend that you see once or twice a week or talk to via text or phone a couple times a week. But the thing is, when it all comes down to it, I build relationships with people. You can't build a relationship with people if you don't get to know them. You can't get to know and build your friendship circle if you are not connecting with strangers. You cannot connect with strangers if you don't find something that is a common ground with them. So the best way to do it is, no matter what small town you live in, no matter what your education is, no matter what size you're at now, no matter what program you're doing, no matter how much time you do have time to get on Facebook. You do have time to, get on, some social media platform that you use and get to know people. The best way to do it is ask questions. The best thing to do is ask questions that get people to interact with you. I've heard a lot from coaches who say, I'm posting on Facebook, all the time, and I'm not growing, I'm not getting any response. When I've seen this, I've scrolled through my newsfeed and I've seen people who post things like, I'm doing LMC or I'm doing TMT, or and if you're a coach, you would probably know that LMC is Les Mills Combat and TMT is 10-minute trainer, and and people are saying I'm drinking Shakeology, and a lot of us know that that's Shakeology, just abbreviated. But the thing is, when you say that I just finished up TMT, whatever the workout is, then that's great. But most people don't know what the hell you're talking about, and if they don't know what the hell you're talking about, most of the people are scared to reach out, so they're not going to message you and be like, hey, what's, TMT, whatever it is, and then you tell them. The thing is, you're just basically an information board, and I'm sure you have people on your Facebook that you see that they're like, I'm going to the grocery store, and I'm going to, take my grandma out to lunch, and then, my daughter just went to sleep, and blah, blah, blah. That after a while is really boring. That doesn't really incite anybody to respond or to interact or have a conversation with you. So ask questions that get people's feedback. But then, again, whenever you ask questions and you get people's responses, then don't just say, yay, I posted something and I got 50 comments and, yay. But then, most people are like, well, now what do I do? Well, you read the comments and you find out what interests your audience. You read the comments and you find out what connection you have with each person. You read the comments and you respond. You don't just post things and just throw shit against the wall and hope it sticks and then wonder why nobody comes to you. The point of posting these things are to get interactions. What I post about are things that are going on in my daily life. I've included my whole family in this, and I got a message the other day from a coach who said, I'm very scared about posting stuff about my child. And everybody has their different reasons, safety, maybe there's family members, they don't want watching what they're doing if they're estranged. I get that. Been there, done that. And I don't think that there's any, said rules about whether you have to or it's wrong if you don't share information about your family. But the thing is, for me personally, my family has been a big part of what I post about. And the thing is, before I became a coach, I shared a lot of what I was doing. So this is something that is not completely out of character. If you've been a private person before, it might be something you have to work up to or find something to market yourself, in a different avenue other than your family. But I share everything about my family, whether it's my husband's pontoon boat, our pontoon boat, that he is working on. It's his project, and I've shared, little clips along the way of what, the progress he's done and what we're doing, and, asked, feedback of what do you think we should name the boat. Shared the fact that Rebel got hurt helping Ryan on the boat, last week, and there was a pretty funny story about that. It's in my videos if you want to watch it, if you didn't watch it. But I shared that. So the thing is, I call it the Horde reality show, because the thing is, if you're a boring person, and I don't think anybody's boring. I think a lot of people think they're boring, but you will appear to be a very dull, boring person if you don't post anything about who you are. You're going to be a very boring person if you don't share struggles, because really, people hate perfect people, or the people who try to portray that they're perfect. I mean, any realistic person knows that nobody's perfect. There's those people out there who are so negative and hate themselves so much. They truly believe that somebody's life is perfect, and they are not inspired by them, and they hate them. So the thing is, you have to be relatable. You have to be somebody that somebody can connect to, and you have to be approachable. There's no better way than just sharing everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, your struggles along the way, your struggles now, your screw-ups, especially your screw-ups, because everybody screws up, and nobody wants to admit it. If there's a little safety net if you actually share your screw-ups, because then people are like, oh, she's not perfect. I can relate to her. There's things that have been very personal about myself. I've shared over the last year the fact that, I've never been a loyal person in any relationship. There's a reason I've been married 3 times. This time it's stuck. He stuck with me. We've been married 5 years. But the thing is, I was really always scared to share that because, everybody talks about people who, are, home wreckers and people who've been divorced a lot. But the thing is, that's me. I made a lot of mistakes, and if it weren't from Beachbody and the personal development and things like going to Danny Johnson's seminar twice, which is something that was brought into my life because of being a coach, I wouldn't have made the changes. And so the thing is, I know a lot of people out there have made the same mistakes because they were unhappy. They had low self-esteem. They, were unsure of themselves. They were, scared to be alone, and they just jumped from relationship to relationships, and they hurt a lot of people along the way. And then when they finally realized it was wrong, it was just become a pattern and a habit, and they just stayed in that failure and that stuck mode, and they didn't know what to do. And so I realized that, part of my story through Beachbody is not just what size pants I wear or how much I weigh now compared to when I started P90X on February 2nd, 2012, or how many stars I have behind my name, or where I've traveled to because of Beachbody, but it's the progress I've made mentally and emotionally, and what impact it's had on the way I view myself, my relationship with my family, my marriage. And so you have to get real, and you have to share this, because that's what people want to connect to. So I started sharing, stuff about that, and it's just amazing how many people have kind of come out of the woodworks and privately, messaged me about, hey, I went through the same thing. So to me, again, this is kind of a thing that sometimes you have to share your your struggles. I'm not saying that if you've been a cheater or you had an affair, your previous marriage, to go out and, that you have to share that. But I'm just saying that just shows me, because when I've said that, and I had a conversation with somebody who was like, they were, humble enough to say, hey, I married somebody, the person I married to, I was with somebody else at the same time, and, you could see that there was this shame in the story, and, it was kind of like that whole, I'm going to tell you this, but I'm afraid you're going to, like, browbeat me or judge me. And I was like, wow, I'm like, that's cool. I was like, Brian and I both were, had problems with infidelity, and, no big deal. And it was like, oh, really? Oh, okay. And so the thing is, I didn't judge her, because I'm, and because I don't judge people like that anymore, I don't worry about being judged, and there's something so freeing. But that is just an example right there. Is it's, sometimes, the first thing I tell people is, like, I want to be your coach. I want to help you, and I'm like the best coach ever, because you're going to see me from time to time, be like, yay, 100% on with my nutrition, and then, like my friend Johnny said today, your posts are like fitness, 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 fitness. Ah, fuck it, beer and strip clubs, and yay. And I'm like, yeah, because that's what I do. And honestly, I don't know anybody who doesn't do that. Just most people don't share that. So, but that's why people connect with me, because they know themselves that they're going to have those days and those times that they're off track themselves. And the last thing they want to do is be with a coach who all they see is the perfect stuff. And, and then they're sitting there thinking, oh my God, I can't imagine that she's going to be perfect. Well, maybe she is. And if she is, she's going to, or he is going to, browbeat me, make me feel like crap, and abandon me on the way because, I suck. So the thing is, showing your failures, showing your struggles, showing you have distractions and you're human is going to connect you with people. So this is a big part of it, is that. And, like I said, I share everything along the way. I learned something really big about being part of the PIO test group, is that I didn't have to sell PIO. I do believe that as a coach, my story and my journey being part of the test group from April to June has been very monumental to the sales of PIO, because I shared my journey so I documented it well, and this has really helped me in my business, and I hope this helps you. And I told my team this today, is that when I got picked for the PIO test group, we had to sign an affidavit where we couldn't share any information about it because it was not released yet. It wasn't going to be released for about 2.5 months from the time we started. We received these 3 discs. It looked like burned disc, and it said PIO test group, and it was like had this watermark on it where you couldn't burn it. We didn't receive a program like is being sold now. I literally got like 4 sheets of paper that had information on front and back about in general the meal plan and what to follow. We didn't know anything. We were not allowed to share anything other than that the general times of the workouts are 20 to 45 minutes, and it's a fusion of Pilates and yoga. So my thing is, I knew that it was a huge honor to be part of the PIO test group, and I really wanted to share my journey along the way, and I knew that I have to think outside of the box. So I just started sharing things that got people interested. It got their curiosity going. It made them want to follow me. It made them want to go to my profile every day to see about my progress. And like I said, I wasn't sharing a ton of information about PIO because I literally didn't really know what all was going to be included, and I couldn't share a lot of stuff. So it really got me thinking, is that this is no different than what you guys can do. So I shared with my group today is that you are a walking billboard. You don't if you're doing T25 or PIO or anything, the last thing you want to do is go steal one of these logos up here and go to teambeachbody.com or go to your coach online office and copy and paste the legal description, as I call it, of the workout. Like you don't want to be like, I'm starting PIO or I'm on day 5 of PIO. Why don't you order PIO, because you can get 8 workouts and you get a bonus workout and this and this and this, because people don't want to know that. They don't care about the facts. They are going to want to pick it because they want a piece of what you have. And so this is why sharing your journey along the way, documenting it heavily with pictures, like with me with PIO, I did like PIO day 1, PIO day 2. It number one helped me stay accountable and help people want to watch me, and I shared little bits and pieces of, and that's kind of how I trademarked the whole dad ass thing, is that, what it was doing to my butt. So people were like, oh my God, I want to watch, I want to stay tuned. She's on week 4, and week 8's coming, and she's going to want to, I can't wait to see her pictures. People were begging me to send them pictures, and they were like, I won't tell corporate, but I didn't, and I realized how many people became curious. So the thing is, whether you signed an affidavit or you're part of a test group or not, you need to run your journey the same way, as by sharing that, is keeping people where they are curious. I know that Brandy Wilson, who's one of my coaches underneath me, she, when she was doing 21 Day Fix, she did like a little, covered up, because she was watching my PIO journey, and she was covering up parts of her, and she was like, guess how much I've lost, and I'm going to reveal this on this day and this day. And she got a lot of interest. And so the thing is, my thing is, people like to know a lot about you, but there has to be a little bit of mystery where they follow you. And this is the same way about our life. Is that I never really thought we had a really, extraordinary life, and I still don't really think we have an extraordinary life, other than the great things that are brought to my life through being a coach. But like I said, something so simple as my husband working on the pontoon boat, just showing progress from here to here and here, and sharing that my son helps, and we were outside helping him the other night at 11 o'clock trying to get it done, and I'm out there drinking a beer. That's real life. It's nothing fun, but people keep saying, they're staying tuned into what we're doing. When we go in public, we were going to Ryan like, hey, awesome job, I can't wait to see what the this, and why don't you add this and this and this and this and this. So this is the thing, is your posts don't have to be all fitness and health related and clean eating related and what's on sale related. It has to be about you, because the thing is, people, if they can connect with you, if they find you interesting, if they're curious about what you're doing, if they can follow you and see some progress in whatever you're doing, they're going to keep following you. Then you're going to build a relationship. Then you're going to become friends. And then as it goes along, you're going to inspire them. And then once they see you as a real person, and that you do drink your Shakeology every day, and that you do work out, and that you are seeing some measurable results along the way, they're going to, feel comfortable to go to you. You don't have to be an expert, and that's one thing I say is, people don't buy from you for facts. They buy from you because they want to be close to you. They're not going to buy from eBay. They're not going to buy from Amazon if they build a relationship, want to be connected with you. So that is the big thing, is be you. Don't sell. I always say, one thing I tell people, stop being a sham wow commercial. I see lots of people who we get together these like fancy collages of all these different pictures. I know like when Insanity and I don't know. I think it's Insanity and the or the dance package thing was on sale 2 months ago. All the Shaun T stuff, people with all these collages, and I have been very guilty of doing this in the beginning of my coaching career. But they do that, then they like copy and paste stuff, and every post every day is basically like a billboard, and it's like a sham wow commercial. It's things that are copied and pasted and are very scripted. Again, this is why on these calls it's not scripted. You're lucky I put makeup on, but sitting here, my husband's outside welding. I'm just who I am. I go with the flow. And the thing is, people want to see that. They want to see you speak from the heart. They don't want to see these ads because they could just stay up in the middle of the night and watch an infomercial if they wanted all the logistics about these programs. They want to know why you picked it, why you're doing it, what you love about it, and what results you've had. One of my new personal sponsored coaches who wants to learn more about coaching, she's like, I just don't know what to say. So I said, answer these questions. When did you start PIO? Why did you pick PIO? What do you love about it, and what are your results? Oh my God, she just answered those questions in a post. She didn't say Mindy asked me that, but she just shared this in like 4 or 5 sentences, and several people ordered PIO through her, and people are going crazy asking questions about it. So the thing is, people want happiness. They want what you have. They don't need to know what every ingredient, all 7 ingredients in Shakeology is going to do for them. They want to know what it did for you. If you're talking about how Shakeology helped your, you deal with IBS or acid reflux or lower your cholesterol, that may not be something that even your best friend is like, oh, hey, I'm going to buy that because of that. But the thing is, somebody out there is going to have been struggling with the same thing and wants relief, and they're going to be, tuned into you. So the thing is keep sharing what you're doing, keep being you. Take a look back and ask yourself, what do I do every day? What are my hobbies? What are my interests? What is something that I have, a quirk that I have had my whole entire life? What is something my husband and I discuss? What are the fun things that we do as a family? What is, things that you do daily that you may just take for granted as just playing because that's just something you are comfortable with because you've done it your whole entire life, and start sharing it. If you ever read my post, it is about everyday life. It's, when I don't really make the bed, but if I was making the bed, or if I'm driving, or if I'm at a movie, or if I am, sitting on the couch with my son, I somehow link it into, number one, sharing what I'm doing, sharing what I'm feeling, sharing what I'm thinking, tying it into how Beachbody has helped me change my thinking, given me the ability to do certain things that I'm doing right now, and turn it into this, post that links everything in. It's a little flair of me. It's a little something in my life. It's something that somebody else can connect to, and it ties into that without Beachbody, I wouldn't be able to do this. And so my thing is, don't just put your life and set it on autopilot and just mindlessly go through each day and keep doing the same thing and never realize how special you are, how amazing your life is, and how not boring you are. And share stuff that will get people wanting to watch you. Like my husband said one day, I throw on laundry on the couch, and he said, I posted a picture. I was like, does anybody else, I don't even remember what I said, but I said something like, does anybody else have laundry pile up? And, and it was just crazy. Ryan's like, oh my God, he's like, it's just kind of crazy how people connect with you, because I don't know, there was like 60 people who commented on it. There's people posting pictures of their piles of laundry on the couch, and people are like, oh my God, you're kind of ingenious. You increase the space that you can pile your clean laundry up on with the recliner, being open versus closed. That's genius. So the thing is, most people would be absolutely scared to death to admit that they have laundry piled up on the couch. But the thing is, I bet you I could go into 20 people's homes right now, and quite a few of them actually have stuff stacked up all over the couch. That's real life. That's how they connect. I'm not saying that that's going to turn into signing 3 coaches or selling 3 challenge packs to hit Success Club, but the point is, that's how people in turn feel connected, and they feel that you are kind of at an even pace, that no matter how successful you are or how many pounds you've lost, that you're just a real person. So the thing is, you want to, number one, is be yourself, not be a salesman. Share your journey and realize that your life and your body are a walking billboard for, what you're marketing. And at the end, you're marketing yourself. You want people to connect to you. You want people to want to be with you. We have a fun life because of Beachbody. And people, when they look at me, they think of fun. When they look at my husband, they think of fun. When they see my kids, they think of fun. When, you know, somebody asked the other day, you know, to do a call with them about becoming a coach, and you know, I asked questions, because the thing is, if he's going to become a coach in my team, we're going to have a call. I'm going to kind of need to get to know him, because I'm not going to just call him and give him this whole spiel about coaching. I'm wanting to get to know him. And you know, the one thing he said is that, you know, I've always been into health and fitness, and I'd like to, you know, be able to get paid for it. And he's like, and by the way, I saw your picture in Vegas. That looks fun. I'm like, yeah, it was like a total dope trip. Like, we had a great time. So that's the thing, is you're marketing yourself and you're marketing your life. You want somebody to look at you and say that, okay, this person's had a ton of shit happen to them, and they're not perfect, but they keep going, and they're not giving up, and they're going to be here. And regardless of how many times they post a day, for how many weeks or months, and may or may not get a lot of response, they're not going anywhere. They're not in it just for the money. They're in it because they're in it for themselves. And if they inspire people along the way, great. And they really want to be my friend. And when I think of them, I think that their life is fun and something that I like a piece of. And I want them to be my friend. So that's the way you kind of have to really share it out there. So go back on your posts, look and see what would be perceived as a sales tactic. Go back and look at your posts and say, okay, well, I posted this on this day. Say it were, I don't know, I don't want to, you know, specifically say anything, but like, you know, Tupperware or whatever it is, a Tupperware rep posting the same type of things. Would I be inclined to buy that? So the thing is, you know, go back and realize, you know, are you selling it? Would you be turned off if it was another product from another company? Go back and see how many of your posts on Facebook, Instagram, or whatever really invite people to, you know, connect with you or respond. Or if it's just something that you're just saying, this is what I did, period. But is this something saying, this is what I did, I'd love to have you join me, this looks so much fun, what is your opinion? See about that. See which posts are getting the best hits. See what are getting the most response. Because the thing is, you may look at one of my posts and it may have, you know, 70 comments and 200 likes on it, but the thing is, I have a different audience than you, so those type of topics and those same questions may not get as much response. So you have to find out what your audience is, because like I said, there's 300+ million people in the U.S. I'm going to connect with people probably totally different than you. If you're a shy person and you know have a corporate job and you know 2 college-age kids and yada yada yada, our lives are different. Chances are our audience is going to be totally different. So you have to find what works for your audience. The biggest thing too is engaging in social, personal development. To number one, to help you get past, you know, fear that holds you back. Helps you be more comfortable with yourself, love yourself, forgive others, stop judging others. Because this is the thing too, is that my videos, my YouTube videos, have been created through practice and time, and really stepping back and looking at what I do on video and how it's working. I'm seeing what is working to build my brand and my reputation. I'm going with it. YouTube has turned out to be the best platform for me, really, to have people understand who I am. But the thing is, I wouldn't have made videos if it weren't for Beachbody. I wouldn't have felt comfortable with it. I wouldn't have been able to have all this information to talk about if I didn't get involved in the community, if I didn't do personal development. So these are things that are all really part of it, is embracing the 3 vital behaviors, is working out, drinking your Shakeology, be part of the product. With that comes the confidence when you start working on your transformation. With your transformation comes interest and people watching you. You have to do personal development, and that's going to help you too. Work on your confidence, help you figure out what issues and things are holding you back. And all those things together is going to give you this whole transformation that you can attribute to Beachbody. But then if you don't feel confident, if you don't have a transformation, if you're not using the products regularly, you're going to have nothing to post about. And if you don't have the confidence behind finishing something and reading the personal development, you're not going to have the confidence to share it. If you don't have the confidence to share it and you don't have the results to share, then you really can't get to the 3rd vital behavior that is really important and will make or break your business, is inviting. How are you going to invite people if you don't have anybody who is interested? And if you don't have anything to share, you can't say, you need to drink Shakeology and I want to invite you to my 30-day Shakeology challenge if you have 50 bags sitting on your counter. You can't say, join my PIO Challenge group that's starting on August 4th, because it's a great program, when you've owned it since you bought it at Summit and you've only done 2 workouts. Or maybe you've done 4 weeks of it now and don't have any results because you weren't doing it consistently, you weren't following the nutrition plan, you weren't drinking Shakeology, or the fact that you have results and because you didn't share it, because you were scared, because you weren't using your time wisely to consistently share your journey on social media, and then it's like, boom, day 30, look at my results. I lost 10 pounds through PIO, and I've been drinking Shakeology. Well, the people are going to be like, yeah, that's great, but you didn't engage them. You didn't get them involved. You didn't get them curious. So it might not be for another 30 days if you start sharing it when you finish the program at the end of week 8 that people get interested. So the thing is, you have to engage people along the way and be yourself. Do something that stands out. Do something that not every other coach is doing, because that is one thing that I learned from Daniel Henson. I've learned from, social media trainings that I attended at Summit. And just watching people is the most annoying thing out there. Is seeing coaches share the same things over and over and over and over again, sharing the same videos through, YouTube or the back office. The thing is, share something personal and I know that Brandon Whitehead's one of my personally sponsored coaches, and I highlighted this in my group, is that I shared kind of a very shortened version of what I just shared with you, and I'd asked them, right before, in the beginning of July, I said, okay, I asked everybody in the CUP team, who is doing 3-Day Refresh? It's a 3-day program. It's a brand new program. Who is doing it? Because this is going to help us on the CUP challenge. This is going to help your business. This is going to help give Beachbody feedback on this program. It's going to help market it. And he said, well, I'm going to do it at the end of the month after he comes back from he was going to Biloxi. And I just said, because this is just me, I'm blunt. I was like, you really need to do it in the beginning of the month. I mean, I understand you're going on vacation and you want to get rid of that bloat, but I'm like, we're in the middle of or just started the CUP and this is a new program. You should just do it right now. He never responded, and the same thing. I give a lot of my coaches, counsel, and some take it, some get mad at me, some do it. I don't really care. The thing is, like, I know what's worked for me, and I know what my suggestions are. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but I say it to not be bossy, but to just help you. Well, I noticed that on Facebook, and because in the same day I posted too a lot of what I was saying about share your journey, don't sell it, don't say 3-day refreshes, blah blah blah, available, and it can do this, and here's the video. So I noticed that it was like the next day he shared this really great post. I wish I could find it, but he shared what he was doing, what he was planning to do, and why he was doing it, and never posted his link, never posted the video. And I was thoroughly impressed, and I watched him over the 3 days share his journey and what he'd accomplished, how he was feeling, how he went to a barbecue and all his friends gave him shit, but they weren't like being ugly about it, but everybody was pretty supportive, and that he was committed to this and that he finished it strongly. And then he posted this awesome collage of his results afterwards and shared in his words why 3-Day Refresh was great, how it made him feel, what his results were, and why he thought people should, benefit from it. So I really love when people listen to what I say and they do it, and then I see that it does get a good response and that it just does click. So I don't really have any other tips right now, and like I said, I don't plan these out. I don't have a script. I am terrible at coming up with lists of do this, do this, do this. And I know that we as people have been beaten down, maybe by our family, maybe by bosses, maybe by employees, and our self-confidence is really lacking. And it's hard for people to wrap around. I know for me it was a really hard thing until I finally took the leap when I left working for somebody else after working since I was 14, and I took the leap, became a coach. That it's a very hard thing to wrap your head around. Is we've been trained to not be able to think independently, and to have a you do this, you do this, you do this, and if you don't do this, you get in trouble, and you don't do this before this, and this is the sequence you do it. And with this, there isn't necessarily a formula of this is how you do it, because and it's impossible to, because like I said, we're all different. We all have different personalities. We all live in different areas. We all have different struggles. We have different audiences. And so it's really hard to script exactly what to say or what to do all I can say is you have to stick to the 3 vital behaviors, and you have to share your journey along the way. Because when people see what you're doing, when they see that you're happy, when they see the changes, not just physically but mentally, and the things that you're sharing on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, they're going to want that, and they're going to want to be around you, and they're going to want what you have. And sometimes it takes 6 months, and it sometimes takes 6 days, and sometimes it takes a year. But the biggest thing to me is just be yourself, stand out somehow. Find one thing about you that has been that way forever and talk about it all the time, so that the fact that people remember you, that when they see something, they think of you. When they see a chicken, they thought of me. When they saw a hard-boiled egg, which I could not, for the life of me, get a hard-boiled egg to cook and peel correctly, they think of me. When they, I talk about going to strip clubs because, hey, that's me, and I really thought that a lot of people would find that offensive, but that's me, and I've actually learned too that a lot of people are like, hey, I went there, and I go there, and oh, I've been there, and hey, you're going to Nashville next year for Summit. Here's a list of things to do. The thing is, not everybody's going to like that. Not everybody's going to appreciate it. Not everybody is going to think that it's a respectable place to go, but that's us, and I'm not going to hide who I am. I'm sure I make a lot of other coaches cringe, but that's who I am, and I've connected with other people. I'm not going to connect with people who think that that's not cool, but that's who I am. And the thing is, you have to love who you are, and you have to stand up for something, and you have to be consistent about who you are, because if you just kind of go whatever way the wind blows or whatever way you think that everybody's going to like you, you're not going to find a lot of people, because it's going to come across as not genuine and fake. So all I can say is that I hope that you learn to love yourself, and that you consistently do your workouts, consistently embrace the 3 vital behaviors, and share your journey instead of selling the products that are aiding you in your journey, because people will want to be your friend. And I hope you're connecting with people. I hope you're learning about them and not just talking about you, but finding ways to connect with them and truly wanting to help people. If you were in the Facebook event invite about this group, I did share a post that was on my blog that I posted in January. It started off about a pair of shoes, and it was a post that I made on Facebook about a pair of shoes that I got, and I really tied into everything that I was talking about, turning it into my family, education, Team Beachbody, workouts, and then I did a whole lesson in my blog about how I do my posts and how I share stuff to get people to connect. So you can check out that link in the Facebook event invite to kind of see how it go, and you'll see too that a lot of people bought those shoes because of that one post. So I have, when people are working out or lacing up their shoes that are on their feet, they think of me, and that's kind of what you want to do, is you want to help people and educate them and always stick out in their mind. So it's been an hour, taking a lot of your time. My husband's getting really loud outside on the boat, so stay tuned to see more pictures of the pontoon boat. So have a wonderful night. Thank you, everybody, for your time.